Hi Michael, just thought I'd jump in and it's quite interesting because since we last met, we've really bobbled along, we've done all that analysis. It's really gone sideways, just sitting on that levels we spoke about, and yet we were saying, look, if that breaks, if these bottoms break, bang, there's a 61.8 that we're sort of really quietly confident that this would have carried on in that mode to go down to there. We remember that. But look, what actually happened when and this was a few weeks ago, when I jump in, I'm on a weekly chart up here. I don't know if you can see, I'm actually on a weekly chart. So each one of these is a weekly chart. Obviously, if I was to jump into daily, we see this is the last couple of weeks here, just going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Well, look, on the weekly, so that hasn't broken them bottoms. We know that it's just been going sideways. Is it going to hold? Is it not? I'm going to jump into weekly. The end of this week's trading. Look, this is the first week in the last 5 or 6 weeks where this was the low, and our price pattern of possible turning points is when we get a close higher than the high bar of a potential signal bar, and obviously in here, so we had a week in up and down, up and down. It was an inside week of this bar, nothing, right? This week didn't close higher than the high of this bar. This week up and down, up and down. This is that sideward stuff in them dailies that we're seeing. This week didn't really traded higher, but look at the close. Well, this week here just finished, right? Bang, it's the first week that's actually had a close. Look at the close, 75.34, and yet higher than this. Yeah, if I hold this up here, you'll see it, hopefully. I think it's off the screen for you. Well, anyway, we could see the high there, 74. You can just see it, 74 even, let's say. You can see it anyway. All right, so you can visually see that here we've had a close higher, 75.34. So now that close being higher than that bar, and we're now 4 or 5 weeks down there, that would pull in that, okay, that possibly could be our turning point low week. All right, because this price pattern is alluded to the first weekly close above that bar. So that's where now I'd be looking at going, okay, now all that tells us that if that low now proves to be in, because this pattern has possibly alluded to it on a weekly, which is stronger than the dailies, of course, now we can actually start working our price patterns from that low, or these lows, because now we could work our 1, 2 upside targets, A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. If this bottom holds, where's this going to continuation? So we're not out of the woods, you know. We're still seeing that actually all we're doing is we're still underneath this trend line, or this down mode. We understand that, but if this was going to hold, this actually gives us our first indication of, okay, we could have a bottom come in. And if that was the case, we could now jump into smaller time frames, because this is daily now, right? This is daily. That's that bar, and these are all those weeks in between, and that was that on a weekly. But on a daily now, we could jump into quicker time frames if we were gonna try and get on an upside trade, thinking that this low down here could be in for the reasons I just discussed over here. All right, or we don't trade it, and really all we've done is we've identified now's the time to start zooming in, because that low could be in, and that's all this video is about, really. So we're still seeing thought hasn't changed that if these lows were taken out, but we've had 6 or 8 weeks of it really not being taken out, so it hasn't popped down, and we've had our first up here, and if this is going to hold, well, we can then start working, you know, these upside targets and blah blah blah. So interesting. We've had our first close week, and what you'd do now, because we're not jumping in short-term trading, you'd say, okay, if this was a trade, the trade on this price pattern would be you enter long above this bar with your stop under this bar, because if we're right in our analysis on this bar, that stop should stay intact. You place your order above this bar, because if this now pops down and comes back down here, we don't get filled. If it did now break off to the top side, you get picked up with your stop in place. And that's how you'd trade that price pattern little system, if you like. Anyway, that was it. Thought I'd make that for you. We'll speak soon. Hope you're having a good week. Cheers, mate. Bye.